Italy has never grown coffee. They never will grow coffee. They've never grown coffee. Stop asking me if my beans are from Italy. What's going on, everyone? It's Chris from 416 Coffee, and today I'm here to talk about probably the greatest invention in all of human history, which is espresso. So today I just wanted to kind of talk about some misinformation or myths that are out there about the beverage and provide some more insight so that you can buy espresso better, enjoy espresso better, and maybe just, impress your friends with some interesting coffee knowledge. The first thing I want to talk about is this idea that espresso is a specific bean. So people often come in and they say, like, hey, what's a good espresso bean, or what's perfect for my espresso machine? And we need to remember that generally speaking, espresso is just an extraction. It's just an extraction method. So the same way a French press or a pour over or a AeroPress or anything else is just a way of extracting something from the coffee, extracting liquid, making a cup of coffee, espresso is just a way of making a cup of coffee. Now, what lends itself to a good espresso is going to come down to your particular tastes. For example, some people really enjoy like nutty, chocolatey, rich espressos that might be something like, something medium dark from Brazil. And other people enjoy citrusy, floral, bright coffees, which might be, a Kenyan coffee that's roasted, more medium light. So it really depends on your particular palate, and there's no right or wrong answer here. I will say that traditionally espresso is roasted very dark, and then even in Italian tradition, there's 10% Robusta for crema. But the issue is with this is that a lot of traditional Italian espressos, or these dark roasted espressos, are usually accompanied with sugar or with milk if you're drinking a cafe latte or a cappuccino. So when you're drinking your espresso at home, or you're picking a bean to make as an espresso at your house, I would disregard any information that anyone tells you and just experiment. I would buy coffees, test them out, find out what you like, what you don't like, what flavors you're looking for, what flavors you're not looking for, and then you can develop your own palate to say, these are the kind of espressos that I like. Even if you go out to a variety of coffee shops, you'll be able to have multiple different espressos all the time, and you'll be able to kind of dial in the flavors that you're looking for and the flavors that you're not looking for. For example, at our shop, we always offer our College Street Espresso, which is like a house blend that's meant to be balanced, that's meant to have flavors that would stand up in the presence of milk, but are also fantastic on their own. And we always rotate a single origin so that people have an opportunity to try something completely different. So the College Street's kind of like the crowd pleaser, and then these single origin rotating espressos maybe have characteristics that are more in one direction or the other, and that people get to experiment and try. So with espresso, there's no particular bean, there's no particular roast profile you should be looking for. It's really up to you. I would just say go out there, drink as many as you possibly can, and find out what flavors you like in espresso and which flavors you're trying to avoid. Myth number 2, and this one kills me. People come in all the time and they ask me, is your espresso from Italy? And I'm like, what do you mean? We roast everything right here in St. Catharines. It's all roasted down the street. Nothing's from Italy. What do you mean? And they're like, well, are your beans from Italy? And I just want to make something abundantly clear. Italy has never grown coffee. They don't have the climate. They don't have... They can't grow coffee in Italy. I could go into it all day. Soil, they don't have a market for it. They don't grow coffee. No one is growing coffee at scale in Italy. So there's no beans from Italy. Despite what, and I'm Italian, so listen, I'm about to go there. Despite what the old Italians think, that, their Kimbo coffee is from Italy. It's not. It's like Brazil and probably Ethiopian coffees. Burnt and then thrown in a bag, shipped over here 7 months ago, and you're like, oh, this is great. Yeah, this is fantastic. No. So Italy does not grow coffee. They've never grown coffee. They never will grow coffee. So the beans aren't from Italy. The Italians invented espresso. Gaggia was the first person to patent an espresso machine. So, of course, the culture, the heritage, there's a lot from Italy. Absolutely. They've given a lot to the coffee world. But the one thing they have not given is green beans. So I just wanted to make that clear. Italy doesn't grow coffee. Myth number 3. Now, this one's interesting. So a lot of people think that espresso has more caffeine in it. People are always like, yeah, double espresso, I'll be wired, right? Like that. There's kind of this idea of like espresso being like a jolt of energy. And it's partially true. So per volume, espresso does have more caffeine. For example, if you were to extract enough espresso for it to be like in a 20-ounce vat, then yes, it would have more caffeine than, you know, a 20-ounce cup of coffee. But if we're looking at coffee, like a cup of coffee versus a shot of espresso, the cup of coffee has usually like double, depending on the size of the cup, but usually double the caffeine of the single shot of espresso. So espresso per volume does have more caffeine, but versus like a full cup of coffee, the espresso just doesn't have as much caffeine, which isn't a good thing or a bad thing. It really depends on what you're looking for. But just don't think if you need to get wired, you need to drink espresso over a cup of coffee. Both are going to do the trick. 4. When I tell people that drinks are espresso based, sometimes they look at me kind of curiously. So just to make something very clear, cafe latte, cappuccino, flat white, cortado, piccolo, macchiato, all of these drinks are espresso based. So that doesn't mean, sometimes people are like, oh no, I don't like espresso, but I'll have a latte. And I'm like, I'm just confused. I'm like, wait a second. Those drinks all have espresso in them. So just to let you know, all those drinks are espresso based. You probably knew that if you're watching this, but just in case you didn't, because I answer this question a lot, all those drinks are espresso based. Number 5. Now this really isn't necessarily a myth or misinformation. This is just kind of a state of the union talk about espresso. So basically, espresso has evolved. When we first started pouring espresso, when espresso first became kind of mainstream, we were using a lot of coffee and like pretty much filling that portafilter as much as possible, tamping it down, and there was like big, fat, like rich streams of crema that like just kind of slopped into the cup. Like it was very creamy, it was very thick. And then those over extractions, or under extractions I should say, were very bitter and had kind of these harsh tones, and there was like flakes of the coffee coming through because there was so much in the portafilter, so you'd see striping on the crema. And that's a very traditional, old school kind of way of pouring espresso. And now, as the third wave kind of coffee culture is changing the way we drink espresso, you're now seeing more evenly extracted. The crema is much thinner because we're not using Robusta in our blends. And the overall shot is more sweet, more balanced, and overall more enjoyable, in my opinion. Now, it doesn't look necessarily as, you know, maybe triumphant and crazy as those old shots did, but new espresso is tasting a lot better. So we might see other changes in how we're pulling espresso going forward. So espresso and the whole coffee culture is never set. We're always making changes. We're always looking at better ways to brew coffee. We're looking at better ways to grow coffee, better ways to cultivate the beans. So it's always changing. Coffee is in a state of flux, which is exciting for someone in the industry or even for just a drinker, because you're always able to try new things and see what people are doing, see what processes are going on. So espresso has changed, and it won't be the same going forward. It'll change again. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this answered some questions about espresso, because I know that it can be confusing. And if you're trying to buy espresso for your home machine, you're like, where do I even begin? Because I tried this coffee and it's garbage, or I tried this and it's not coming out right. So espresso, remember, try as many beans as you want. Look for coffees that have a roasted date. Use all the practices that you would when you're buying any other coffee. Roasted date, roasted close to you, hopefully, ethically sourced. Look for information on varietal, where the coffee was grown, altitude, washing process. Look for all of those things, like processing method at the farm. Look for all that information. pick a coffee and try it. And just always start your espresso ratio at 1 to 2, meaning if you're going 18 grams of dried coffee in your portafilter, you're looking for about a 36 gram extraction. That's where you need to start with espresso. So go there, try everything. Let me know what you like. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this sheds light on your future decisions when you're buying espresso.